So this is a little bit funny, but still it is what it is. And you won't even believe that these type of questions are asked in examinations related to physics. And in this problem we have a drunkard, Unfortunately, our drunkard is not that drunk to not even walk, so he is walking on a street. His walking style is a little bit funny, he takes 5 steps forward followed by 3 steps backward. Now the problem is he takes a second for every step. Well, actually that's not the problem. The real problem is how many seconds will he take to get himself into the pit? As already mentioned, the guy takes 5 steps forward followed by 3 steps backward, which means that after every 8 steps he completes a distance of only 2 meters. So, if you think of it in a scientific way, you will see it as a process combining 2 procedures. The first one is made of 5 steps in forward direction, followed by the second one, which is made of 3 steps in backwards direction. We can actually solve problems like this in 2 different ways. The first one is pretty obvious. We can simply draw a line on a paper and divide it into 13 equal parts, followed by drawing a character on a piece of paper and try to follow the steps as per the problem to make the character fall into pit, and count the number of steps afterwards. So let's try doing it here. Here's the process: 1, 2, 3, 4 complete processes and 5 steps in forward direction. So total number of steps required for a complete process is 8. Now we have 4 such complete processes, so we have total number of steps as 32 plus 5 steps in forward direction, which means a total of 37 steps. And we already know that every step takes a second, which means that we have 37 seconds for the drunkard to get himself into the pit. Well, in the other method, we will try to design an algorithm which should at least work for any distance or any number of steps in forward direction followed by any number of steps in backwards direction, as long as the number of steps in backwards direction is smaller than the number of steps in forward direction. You can pause the video right now to design your own algorithm. I will give you some numbers to work with, like 96 meters for the same drunkard and 13 meters in forward direction followed by 3 meters in backwards direction. Can you work with that? Okay. So now if you have designed your own algorithm, you can put it into the comment section so that we can look into that and we can decide. Okay, even you can check it up. So let us see what we got using the previous method for solving the problem. So the total distance is 13 meters. Okay, and the final procedure was of 5 steps. So if you subtract 5 with the total, what do we get? We get 8. Now if we divide this number with the resulting displacement of the drunkard after completing a full process, we will get a perfect 4. And coincidentally, we also have 4 complete processes before the final procedure. Okay, fine. Now let's try to solve the problem using the same method for a distance of 24 meters from the drunkard. Now, as we did in the previous method, we will subtract the total distance with the number of steps in the first procedure of the process. But this time we get a 19, which is a non-divisible number by 2. So what we can do, we can simply add a number after that 19 so that it can become divisible by 2, which indicates that we would require at least 10 complete processes for the drunkard to go through before reaching the pit. So after completing these 10 processes, the distance between the drunkard and the pit has reduced to 4 meters only. Now we can count the total number of his steps, which is equal to 8 times total number of processes through which the drunkard has gone through, plus the 4 steps that he took after completing the 10th process. So the total number of steps is 84, and if every step is taking a second for the drunkard to complete, then he is going to take 84 seconds to get himself into the pit. Now we will look at the situation that I gave you to work with. So I gave you 96 meters as the initial distance between the drunkard and the pit. And also the drunkard is moving 13 steps forward followed by 3 steps backward. And this drunkard is the same drunkard, and his step size is also a meter, which takes a second to complete. Which means after completing the whole process, the drunkard will have a displacement of 10 meters only. Now if we subtract the total distance with the number of steps in the first procedure, we will get a number of 83 meters. And we all know that 83 is not divisible by 10, so we will add the least number required to make 83 divisible by 10, which in this case is 7. So now if we divide 90 by 10, we will get 9, which indicates that we will require at least 9 complete processes the drunkard would have to go through before reaching the pit, which clearly means that the drunkard is at a distance of 6 meters only from the pit. So he's not gonna have to go through another complete process. The 6th step of the first procedure of the final process, that is the 10th process, is gonna get him into the pit. So it took 150 steps, or you can also say 150 seconds, since every step is taking a second. So happy pit day, guys. Most of the time people advise you not to drink and drive, but this time I'm gonna advise not to drink and walk either. Otherwise you are gonna get yourself into a pit which nobody wants you to be in. So bye guys, assalamu alaikum. If you like this shitty pity thing, you can like, share and subscribe.